Zooey Mama! I'm here to share with you guys an insanely strong and competitive deck. I have just been destroying Galactus players, slapping around Shuri players, and dominating any deck that has Sarah in it. So once I got to the final version of this deck, I just went undefeated through Conquest, beating people up in Silver Conquest, Gold Conquest. Already got my first Infinity ticket of the season, and I'm planning to get a bit more with this deck. It is so good and just so dang consistent. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of all the cards in the deck, and then I'll give you a detailed breakdown of how to play it, as well as some possible card replacements if needed. And then we'll get into some nice gameplay highlights because this deck creates some insane games and some crazy highlights. It is just an absolute blast to play, and it's just that good. So let's get to it. So here on the left is my current best and favorite deck, Handfill, which I named it that for some pretty obvious reasons. We are starting off with Spider Ham. Spider Ham is now, once again, a 1-cost, 1-powered card, and he can still hit something pretty good in your opponent's hand. It's not guaranteed to be their highest cost card, but if he can hit Angela, Electro, or Shuri, I mean, that can just be an instant retreat from your opponent. So turning something into a pig, really strong. It also gives you knowledge on what deck your opponent is playing as early as turn 1. So that's the ham side of Handfill. The fart side comes from Alioth, because he's a big purple cloud, and when he kills cards, it's like a fart of death that he just blows onto them to kill those cards. So he is the new big bad 6-drop. He's super strong, and priority is very important, especially if your opponent is also playing Alioth. So this deck is built to keep priority, keep that tempo going, and make sure that your cards are the ones revealing first. To help do that, we've also got Iceman. 2 power on the board on turn 1 is really good, and he can just mess up your opponent's curve. He can hit their 2-cost card, and they might just have to skip the turn. I mean, he's really good for tempo. We've got Medusa in here. Again, tempo, tempo, tempo. Player on turn 2, she's 5 power if played in the middle. So that gets you off to a really strong start. We've also got Scorpion, who himself is 2 power, but he's going to subtract power from cards in your opponent's hand, which means over time he's basically getting more power value himself. We've got Jeff in here because why not? Jeff is the best 2-cost card in the game, and he's great to move into Storm's lane. Got Mr. Fantastic, who I think is going to see more play during this meta where tempo does matter. Again, having priority is very important with Alioth, okay? It really matters. And if your opponent goes to play Wave on turn 3 and you slap down Mr. Fantastic, you're going to have priority on turn 4, and you can stop and counter their Galactus play. Okay, if you play Mr. Fantastic on turn 3, you're almost guaranteed to have priority on turn 4 against basically every deck. Okay, he's so good, giving you early priority. We've got Storm in here. She can shut down a lane that we can easily add other cards into using Mr. Fantastic, Jeff, or the Doombots. We've got Wave, usually best on turn 5. Wave is just one of those cards that could get instant retreats. Turn 5, you play Wave, you see your opponent play Sarah, and then you see your opponent retreat, and they regret all of their choices. Wave is just that good. Iron Lad here, because look at this deck. Every card in this deck is a good target for Iron Lad. Every card is on reveal except for Mr. Fantastic, who's also a good target for Iron Lad. Okay, you cannot go wrong with Iron Lad here. Oftentimes you can just snap right before you play him because you know he's going to get something good. Legion is insanely strong. He's our 5-cost card that we can play just for power, or to obviously mess with our opponents by changing the locations. It's possible we go for a turn 4 Storm into turn 5 Legion, or we just see a location that seems good to duplicate and he can just give us some free wins. We've got Alioth, who we've already talked about. Again, great for just blowing your opponent off the board. And then we've got Dr. Doom, and he's really the best card that we play on turn 6 most of the time. Just that power across the board is absolutely nuts, and especially if we did get wave down on turn 5, it's going to be really hard for our opponent to beat us come the final turn if we're laying down Doctor Doom. So that is all the cards in this deck. I'm now going to go into my detailed guide of how to play this deck. I'm going to talk about some possible card replacements, some good and bad matchups and locations, and then go into a very detailed turn-by-turn breakdown before we get into that gameplay. Let's get into it. While this deck does use a lot of Series 4 and Series 5 cards, there are some very easy replacements you can make that even come from pools 1 and 2. So all these cards up here are Series 4 or Series 5, but I do think they are replaceable. I think the best cards, Series 3 Plus, are actually Wave and Doctor Doom, but all these cards here can be replaced. And here are some possible options. Okay, you could go with an Angela package where you can play Nightcrawler on her. Jeff, if you have them, you can move them away, power her up. Jessica Jones is great behind Storm. Leech is another good turn 5 option to counter your opponents if you needed to replace Wave or Legion. And then lastly, I did want to talk about Mobius M. Mobius. Now at the time of recording, he is not yet in the game, but once he is, I do believe it will be crucial to run Mobius if you're running Wave. If you're running Wave without Mobius and your opponent has Mobius, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. So once he does come out, I'm almost certainly going to replace Scorpion with Mobius, but you can also replace a different card if you don't have one of those with Mobius. To talk about some of the win conditions, which this deck has plenty of, we've got the classic turn 5 Wave into Doctor Doom or Alioth. Now Wave can be played on turn 3 if needed, and you can get one of these 6 drops out on turn 4, but she's honestly best on turn 5, and if you already have a lead, you're almost certainly going to finish the game strong, dropping turn 6 Doom or Alioth. We do also have a big location control package here. We've got Storm, who can flood a lane, and we can easily keep adding power to as the game goes on, even after the lane is flooded. We've got Legion, who can copy those flooded lanes if Storm comes down on turn 4, or he can just be played on some random location that pops up that can really mess with your opponent. To look at some good and bad matchups and locations that you should be on the lookout for, Galactus and Sarah, we are very happy to see. We will almost always have priority going into turn 4 against a Galactus deck, so if they're looking to turn 3 Wave, turn 4 Galactus, we should snap because we're almost certainly stealing their cubes. And we do have Wave ourselves to use against Sarah decks, which will probably give you an instant retreat from your opponent. For bad matchups, I would say these are more about a 50-50. A high Evo deck with Cyclops will probably negate our Storm lane, but we are able to get rid of Limbo if they're running Magic, so it can kind of come down to how you draw and how you play. A card like Leech will be really annoying for us because our 2 big powerful 6 drops only actually have 5 power. It's their abilities that make them so strong, so if we do get leeched, we will probably have a pretty weak turn 6. To talk about some locations, we're very happy to see something like Sanctum Sanctorum or Death's Domain, where it's hard to play cards in. We can easily add Jeff or the Doombots there, and we could even copy Death's Domain if we did get an early lead just to secure the victory against our opponent. For locations that we don't love seeing, something like Nowhere, we are pretty unhappy to see because 11 out of the 12 cards in this deck are on reveal, and we could only get rid of Nowhere on turn 5 with Legion, so we would really avoid that location. And something like the Raft, we just can't fill up quickly, maybe by turn 4 with decent draws, but we're probably going to want to get rid of that with Storm or Legion. Now it's time for my favorite part of the video, which is the turn by turn breakdown. I want to make sure you guys know how to play this deck well and can steal some cubes with it. So starting off turn 1, we love Iceman. He's 2 power on the board. He can mess up our opponent's turn 2 play. If we don't have Iceman, we can go for Spider-Ham, but Iceman is definitely the preferred card, so we'll play him if we have him. Turn 2 comes around. we can play Medusa in the middle. If we're able to play her in the middle, that's great. She'll be 5 power. If we're not, that's okay. We've also got Scorpion and Jeff, who we can play to keep the early game tempo. When turn 3 comes around, Mr. Fantastic is our go-to. He's just so strong. Adding power to 3 locations almost guarantees that we have priority on turn 4, which we love. If we want to go for Storm on top of Medusa, that's another option, or if we don't have Mr. Fantastic here, Storm's good on 3, and as a last resort, we do have Wave. Now, Wave is best on turn 5, so we will really only play her on turn 3 if we have no other 2 or 3 cost cards to play, or if the scenario just really calls for it. But preferred, Mr. Fantastic. So looking into turn 4, we've got our Iron Lad. And again, he has all good targets, and we do want to make it a habit to play him in the middle. Now in this scenario, we have already drawn and played Medusa and Mr. Fantastic, but if either of those cards are still in your deck, you want to make it a habit to play Iron Lad in the middle if you can. That way if he pulls one of them, he's getting the best possible use out of their abilities. Now if we don't draw Iron Lad, that's okay. We can mix and match our 1 and 2 cost cards because we've got a good amount of them. Okay, so we can just slap some power and different abilities on the board even if we don't have Iron Lad, although he is preferred. Looking into turn 5, here's our Wave plus some other 1 or 2 cost card combo. Turn 5 Wave is insanely strong, especially if we already have Doctor Doom and or Alioth in our hand. If needed, we've got Legion. Okay, so if there's some wild location that can just lock your opponent out of the game right here, go ahead and play Legion. Or if you didn't have Wave and you just needed a nice 7 power on the board, Legion can really help us out. But Wave is preferred, and that brings us to our turn 6, where we will probably play Doctor Doom over Alioth. Alioth is also very strong. He is best if we are for sure only fighting for 1 remaining location. Okay, if we've already got the middle locked down and we want this left location here, then Alioth can pretty much guarantee that, especially if we already have priority. But otherwise, Doctor Doom is really strong, adding his Doom bots, just spreading 15 power across the board. We've also got Mr. Fantastic that's adding 2 to the left and right locations. So them together adds 7 to the left, middle, and right, okay, which is also what just stops Galactus on turn 4. If your opponent plays Wave on turn 3 and you do turn 3 Fantastic into turn 4 Doctor Doom, you 100% stop Galactus because you have 7 power everywhere, okay? It's so strong having all this power spread across the board. So that's the turn-by-turn breakdown. Now we got to get into the fun gameplay highlights. Okay, this deck, again, earned me an Infinity Conquest ticket, and these games were just insane. So if you're liking this video, remember to hit that subscribe button. Let's get into that gameplay. All right, let's just slap down Iceman. See what we're against here. Our opponent does have the nice Infinity board as well. Have a good one, Fisheye. I appreciate you. Keep climbing. Keep growing that CL. All right, Medusa should get the boost before she moves. Or because she was played there, she should get it. Very cool. 8-powered card. We love to see it. If that card goes left, I just storm right. If the card went right, I think I'm still going to storm right. Depending on what they're playing. I don't know. We're just going to drop Storm here. See what happens. Rule of thumb, just drop Storm. See what happens. Killmonger. Okay, we don't mind that. So next turn, we can Wave plus Jeff. And I like to leave a spot open on Storm's lane just in case I get my Doctor Doom. So we'll leave that spot open. See, oh, our opponent came up with Wave. Okay. I have to think my opponent might have Galactus. But actually, we beat Galactus with our Doctor Doom. We do lose to Alioth if they have Alioth. And the Wolverine, I'm like 100% sure they have Galactus. Okay. Maybe left makes the most sense in case I have 1-drops. They can at least get rid of my Mr. Fantastic. I'll just have no cards there. That feels bad. Oh, it was middle. Hopefully it's not Alioth. Hopefully it's Galactus instead of Alioth. Okay, perfect. Oh, we yoinked him. We yoinked him and boinked him. Alright, and now we just have to play Alioth. So, pretty easy. Even if they had, like, Absorbing Man or something, they have no way to trigger Galactus. Oh, they retreated. Yep. Cool. Victory. Well, we did not correctly predict where they were playing, but it didn't matter. It would have only mattered if it was Alioth. And they don't know we have Alioth yet. So, hopefully we can surprise them with that. I'm going to snap on that. I think that's bad for my opponent. And I am correct. That was a bad location for my opponent. So we start off with a nice 3-cube advantage. Okay. Hopefully we can get Ham or Iceman though. If they do snap, we're going to assume they're playing Electro onto Oscorp Tower. So if they do snap on turn 3, we are retreating. Ooh, that's kind of good actually. They might not want to play there. I will sit Jeff here just in case this is that location that gives you +1 power. I always forget the name. Or +1 energy. It was Monster Island. Okay. There's a good chance our opponent plays Wave. We could play Wave ourselves. We could even Legion to give a bunch of monsters. That'd be kind of funny. Let's do it. Let's do it. Our opponent doesn't really know what we're playing either. Did they hit me with Electro, those little bastards? Oh my goodness, I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming right when I saw that location, but they didn't snap. They 100% should have snapped. There's a chance that they do try and Galactus again. Did they actually play their Galactus off my wave? I could have Alioth it. I said maybe they won't play it off of my wave, but they did. They are ruthless with that. So we're just going to beat them on power. Is like what's going to happen. We're just going to beat our opponent on raw power. That's the plan. And we'll see what they have. We'll just play Legion for power. Okay, they did Wolverine. They did Venom. Okay, so it's possible they have Arnim Zola. Enough said, Bub. But I'm pretty sure I won this game, and if they do have Zola, he's going bye-bye. I didn't snap yet, but we're going to get 2 cubes, and that's a really good lead against my opponent, so I'm not going to scare him away. Oh, they just retreated. Okay, yeah, we are destroying this Galactus deck. So part of the plan of this deck, not only do we have all good targets for Iron Lad, I mean literally everything in this deck is a good target for Iron Lad. We really have a lot of early game priority. That's why Mr. Fantastic is here. In case we're against another Alioth deck that has Wave, we'll have priority. We're going to snap right here on them. We'll have priority and we can just counter that Galactus like we've been doing. So it works well. That's why we got these 1-drops. That's why we got Medusa and Mr. Fantastic. So we snapped because I thought TVA was intimidating for them. We actually have a bad hand. But we drew Medusa, so we don't care. And if they play Wave, I'm going to wreck them. I think. I'm beating them on power right now because of Medusa. We really need another early game card. Storm. Although I think I like the locations, so I don't think I'm going to get rid of TVA. And if they play Wave, they actually have priority if they play Wave.
Time's up.
Okay. Now we've got questions to answer. So they do have priority. If they play Galactus middle, the game does not end because of TVA would be gone. However, I'm not sure how I'm going to beat them. So I'm going to retreat this, actually. We're taking 2 cube loss. Love the Fantastic Doom combo. Yeah, and what's up, Akivili? How's it going? Hope you enjoyed Loki. Yeah, Fantastic and Doom is good. That one we did not have priority, unfortunately, because they got their early Carnage off. Iceman could be really good. He's great at helping disrupt our opponent's curve. If he hits Electro or Wave, same thing with Spider-Ham. Kiln's beautiful for me. We want to spread out power across different lanes to help keep priority. What'd we hit? We hit Carnage. Okay, that's pretty good, actually. They do have Venom to hit Wolverine. Miniaturized Lab. Okay, we could even go for Storm. But I'm kind of liking my hand. So we're not going to snap. We're just going to play Fantastic. If they do Storm middle, though, I just got him again. It was Electro. Okay, so now they've got 5 energy. We're going to do this. I don't love this play. They could Galactus us this turn still. They did Venom. Okay. Wolverine has to go left or middle. Unfortunately went left, so they cannot Galactus anymore. We did get some good power though, and Dr. Doom could help us. If we don't have priority, we do lose to Alioth, so I'm retreating again. So our opponent's got 2 good wins on us now. But that's okay, I don't want to lose 6 or 8 cubes off just a game where I was already behind. Glad to hear you're doing good. Alright, ongoing effects are doubled. I don't think that helps my opponent at all. It doesn't help me too much, but as long as it doesn't help my opponent. We haven't seen a lot of that. Okay, we hit the Wolverine. That's pretty cool. That's going to help with Galactus. Dark Dimensions kind of sucks, but we can actually hide Mr. Fantastic behind there. I don't think we have much reason to play him on the left, even though it's double ongoing. Fantastic Wave Doom is like Galactus insurance. Yeah, for the most part, I can counter Galactus pretty well. I do need to play on the right here. If I play Fantastic in the middle, I actually cannot stop a Galactus on the right. But this plus Doom, it does stop it. Oh my, this person's like clockwork. Okay, well we got the middle down because they got a rock. So we're gonna sneak in this Dr. Doom. Oof, that feels bad, man. We're gonna snap on him right now. We do have Legion, and we have to remember we've got an extra 5 power, all these locations next to us. I'm thinking Iron Lad might be better. Well, Iron Lad can hit Medusa or Alioth, which is really good, but if those cards are good, I can just draw them next turn. So we're gonna stick power. Opponent does not have Electro or anything down, so they actually don't have that much power, I don't think. All right, we've got an extra 5 on the left locations. Our opponent this turn might add that as well. With Mr. Fantastic, we've got an extra 7, so we should actually be ahead on these outside locations. Okay, if they play Dr. Doom, I think we beat it. If they don't, I think we can still beat it. I'll play on left. Well, this game's honestly going down to this, right? Okay, I think we should beat that Doom. Yeah, we just took a fat dubski. We dodged their Alioth. We out-doomed them. We hit him with the Legion. And we're looking pretty dang fantastic. Let's take another dubski. This deck is running through them. Victory. Say no to Galactus. Alright, our opponent may have played Nebula. Usually you just see Nebula on the right. Okay. They're probably going to follow it up with Sunspot. Deep Space is really interesting. Medusa sucks there. So bad game for Medusa. Are we seeing a high Evo deck? It might be high Evo lockdown. I don't have Luke Cage or anything in my deck. Altar of Death is interesting. I could Altar of Death. I could get Legion. Potentially. I could Doom into Legion. Wait, my opponent could like just Galactus right now. Okay, I'm gonna Doom over here. It's possible my opponent plays Galactus. But I gotta think Doom right. I mean, they could also Doom right here. Is the truth. And if they Doom Odin, I lose. If they Galactus, I don't mind. If they Doom Odin, I lose. Oh, baby. Oh, we are taking fat dubskis. I do believe. Even if they Doom, they cannot follow it up with Odin. Right? It's that simple. If they Doom, they cannot follow it up with Odin. Oh, baby. Did we get two things? Don't tell me we got two things with it. What did we get? We killed Jeff? What else did we kill? We killed Iron Lad. But what did he get before we killed him? We'll never know. We don't get to see it. We don't get to see it. Wow. We popped off. And guess what? We can get Storm with Iron Lad, which could be good or bad. We could also get Alioth. So my opponent has a bunch of energy is the problem. They snapped on me. Why did they snap? What could they have? Be honest. I'm going to lose this, but I have to find out what they have. I mean, they have like 11 energy. They could Arnim Zola. Okay, we're just going to do this. Alioth wins it, beats an Armzola. Oh no, they did stuff over there. What are they doing? It was Storm. I got the Storm. Okay, I almost stormed right. I was going to do Iron Lad on the right first. What did they get though? Did they Arnim the Nebula? Oh my goodness, they got wrecked. What? They snapped on that. Oh, baby, I was not going to let that one slide. I had to see what was coming. I had to know what they were so confident about. And that was actually a pretty good play. If I did not get Iron Lad into Storm, I would have lost. Because we were tied on the left. And my Alioth play, if I'd played Iron Lad right, it would have lost because only Alioth would have beaten that. The only winning play was Iron Lad on the left in Storm. That's it. That was the only winning play. That's bonkers. That is nuts. I might have to make that into my TikTok. I've been stepping up my TikTok game, trying to upload my YouTube shorts there. That's going on it. Oof, that was a game. That was a game. Well, we're probably going to beat this person, to say the least. If they do try and wave us, I don't think we mind. We should have priority, and we've got Alioth here. Are they just going to retreat? I think they're going to concede. Man, that was crazy. We got kind of lucky there. I knew the possibilities, but it wasn't like... I know Oscar's hyped me up. He says, great call. But, you know, I got lucky there with that Storm. I knew it was a possibility, but it wasn't guaranteed. Turn one a little rough. That's okay. It's okay. We get our 3 drops. If we get a 2-drop here, it's really good. Oof, didn't get it. But maybe we'll get lucky on X-Mansion. And if we do get lucky, we can snap. Okay, Angela. And Dream Dimension's kind of bad for us. Tinkers doesn't help us unless we get Iron Lad. We did get Storm. I'm going to leave the middle location because I think I might need it. We could go for a Storm Legion. If X-Mansion gives us something really good, we can Storm Legion our opponent. Hulkbuster, okay. We're against, it's either Silky Smooth or a Shuri deck or both. I guess. Yeah, like Shuri Kitty. Okay, Colleen. Okay, so much for the storm play. Okay. That didn't do too much. It didn't not do anything, but it didn't do too much. My hand's kind of bad. I'm going to wave right now because my next turn looks like it sucks. So we're going to drop wave. We can wave into Doom, into Alioth if we need it. Guys, we are killing whatever my opponent's about to play. It's dead. We're snapping and we're crapping. I mean, playing. Yeah. They snap back. Oh, what? They snap back? They can only play one card this turn. Watch them not play anything. Oof. Ooh, that's tough. That's 4 cubes right there. That's a 4-cuber. It's still a close game, though. In all honesty, I don't have too much power on the other lanes. And, yeah. Obviously, our opponent, I don't think they're going to stick it through. I don't think you can keep playing after that. Even though they still have good power in the middle, I don't think you can keep playing after you just get your Shuri card blasted. Them getting their Angela right away works out pretty well. So both times they had Angela down early, and that's hard to deal with. If we can hit stuff with Iceman or Ham, though, we're going to be pretty happy. Unfortunately, we can't do anything on the White Hot Room right now. But if we can get wave down on turn 4, that's when they play Shuri, we can, like, guarantee to hit what Shuri has. But unfortunately, they played armor. Okay. Okay. If I'm instead just going to get rid of this way, and then we get Legion a different lane.
Wind, aid my hand.
And this again makes it awkward for my opponent to play Shuri. If they fill it here, they might not get one of these monsters from Monster Island. They play 2 cards there. So they only played 1. Okay. Don't hit Jeff. Okay, perfect. I'm like, that hitting Jeff would be absolutely disgusting. Okay, so we're obviously now fighting for the other 2 locations against my opponent. Wave might be better than Legion. We're gonna do this. We don't have priority. Maybe we should play Jeff, right? I guess we wouldn't know if we need to play right over. Okay, so I believe we won here because we have Alioth again. I'm actually not gonna snap because I don't want my opponent to know I have Alioth. They've seen that before. They could also not play there. I mean, if my opponent... They could just not play in Shuri's lane and play something big on top of wave and I lose. Whereas if I play Doom mid, I win the mid and the left. And there's like, my opponent only wins that if they can get their own Doom down. But Shuri decks don't run Doom. So I think it's better for me to Doom. Okay, we're going to do this. See, I thought this was coming. Oh my goodness, I read them like a book. Woo! I thought the Shuri was too obvious. I said, no way, that's so obvious. They know I'm going to play Alioth right there. Well, I'll tell you what, this person is not stream sniping me because they just got sniped themselves. My goodness. That was a tough decision. Alioth or Doom? When in doubt, play Doom. You don't need to know where your opponent's playing. You just play Doom. Read them and weep them. Man, that was good. I could have snapped on that too. But it's okay. If only we had Iceman a turn earlier, we'll go ahead with the Medusa. Yeah, this deck is solid. It allows for like some pretty good plays. Let's do Storm right now. I thought they might try and do me dirty here. Destroy my cards. Okay, we're not worried about that. Let's Fantastic and Iceman, and we can actually Legion next turn if we want to on the left. So they did not go for their Shuri play. We don't know if they have Legion or not. But when they do play Legion, guess what? Kitty Pryde, when I play Legion, Kitty Pryde goes back to hand on turn 6. Like, guaranteed. And I have Jeff, and they've already played their Jeff. I don't think they know I have Legion. I don't think they've seen it yet. So I'm snapping right now because their Kitty is going back to hand at the start of turn 6. They cannot replay her. They already played their Jeff. They can't do anything this last turn, and I have Jeff. Unless they mess with this location. Oh man, we are just like wrecking this person. Unfortunately for them, they're getting kind of beat up. So the Storm actually makes it really awkward for Shuri because they don't want Shuri on turn 4 because they want to play on Storm's lane. Okay, my opponent's down to 2 lives. I'm at 8, so this game's going very well. Pretty happy with how I've been playing, and hopefully I can keep it up against them. Okay, starting off with Kitty, very nice. I don't know if I want a Scorpion or Storm. I guess we'll start off with... I'll start with Medusa still. They might assume I'm going to go for a Storm play here. Ninjas, okay. And also getting rid of New York is kind of good. Because I feel like my opponent's deck, them being able to move something in on the last turn is pretty good for them. Okay, so far they're not playing in the flooding lane. They do have Jeff. Obviously, he can move over when he pleases. Jeff goes where he wants. I could Alioth. I'm actually going to save Alioth and make sure I really win this middle location. Although, next turn... no, I'm going to make sure I win the middle. The only way I don't win this is if they do a Storm into Vision. But they played, or a Shuri into Vision, but they played 2 cards. Hulkbuster into Jeff. Okay, that's 10. That's pretty strong. That's not a weak Jeff. But I think we're doing okay, and Wave is going to shut down this Kitty Pryde completely. Even if they Shuri Wave right now, Kitty Pryde's getting shut down. It's that simple. So we'll see. Unfortunately, their Jeff is so strong that even if I move my Jeff over in my life, it's only 8 power. Did they do Shuri Kitty? Oh, that hurts. And Shuri was even hit by Scorpion. Okay, so here's the thing. My opponent knows I have Alioth. They could move Jeff over to... Oh, they just retreated. I was going to say they could win that by moving Jeff over to the right, so they don't have to play a card there. Wow, that game went very smoothly against a Shuri deck. We kind of dominated that. I'll play the Ham. Ooh, we could play Ham left. Our opponent might avoid left because of the sewer system. That's going to look juicy for Storm. But if we do Iron Lad after Storm, he pulls Fantastic or Medusa. He's better in the middle, so let's stick him in the middle. Oh, you're Brazilian as well. See, I knew I get a lot of comments from people in Brazil, and they always say hi from Brazil, so that's how I know they're Brazilian. Bar Sinister, that could be nasty. Bar Sinister could be nasty. Me and my opponent are already at 2 cubes. I don't really need to snap. Although I'm going to snap. Who am I kidding? They got Collector on the left, which is a good thing I did Sewer System. So Storm middle, I should secure it. Even if they get Angela down, they could get Magic. My opponent does have Magic and Legion, actually. So the Storm location is going away. I should be aware of that. I should look at their cards. Okay, I'm pretty sure they're going to get rid of this at some point. If they don't, cool. Okay, they copied my Iron Lad. They have a 4 8 Iron Lad. Ooh, but if I wave into Doctor Doom and they don't copy my cards and I can wave into Doom, that's absolutely disgusting, but they might copy my Doom. Is the unfortunate thing here. Okay, Iceman doesn't do a whole lot. They could also play Magic. Do I ever just Legion right now? I would, but I want to wave. I need to play wave. Oh, they got rid of it. Wait a minute, I can get rid of that with Legion. Although Legion probably doesn't do enough. Yeah, Legion would just lose because I don't have enough power on the board. Hey, my opponent could play their own Legion. I think we lose. I think we lose that game. But we lose no matter what. If they Legion left, we lose no matter what they do. So it doesn't matter. But even if they don't, they're getting past the wave turn. Oh, they did America Chavez. Interesting. They are getting past the wave turn, although I have priority and I have Alioth. So here's the thing. My opponent wins if they play Doctor Doom. If they play Doctor Doom on the left, they win. Because they tie the middle and they win the tiebreaker. If they don't play my Doom... That's an infinity ticket right there. My goodness. This is my new deck. This is my deck now. We got cleaner wins as we went higher up in gold. That is GG. I love control decks. I usually go with like Professor X style, kind of more lockdown. But as I was playing this one more, I'm like, you know what? I think Legion can do the job of the 5 cost. I don't think I need Professor X. I think Legion can lock down sometimes, depending on the locations. Beautiful infinity ticket right there. Without Professor X. And it turns out I was correct. And ham fart deck. That's the way to go. Thank you all for watching. If you do give this deck a try, let me know how those games go in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time.